Ladies and gentlemen, the cinema. What an astounding place. A place where the popcorn's crunchy and the floors are sticky. A place where you can cry in public without people judging you. Because they're crying too. And a place where adults bring their kids to be absolute poo heads. Okay, straight onto the video. No segues needed. I don't know why anyone would bring anyone under the age of 7 to see a film in the cinema. Because most kids, not all, will watch the film for half an hour, get bored, and start being a pain to not just me, not just the parent, but everyone in the whole freaking cinema. And that takes us to our first story. Me and my extended family were going to see the newly released Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. As we sat down, nothing much was happening. But as the film started, I noticed in the row behind us there were about 5 or 6 kids around the age 7 or 8. I can't really remember, it was pretty dark. But I started to get that feeling in my stomach, telling me something bad was going to happen. Half an hour in, the kids were starting to get agitated. Nothing much at first, maybe a few snickers here and there, but right now, they were fine. But an hour in, they were kicking my seat and lolling at their own poo-poo jokes, which, granted, usually I'd laugh along to, but I was in no mood. You see, when kids act this way, it ruins the magic of going to the cinema. It turns a lovely experience into an abysmal one, and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, there's a few things you could do about it. So get out your pen and papers, kids, because you've been accepted to Chuckster Academy. Our first lesson, how to stop kids from being annoying in cinemas. Your first option is to kindly ask the kid to stop. Let me tell you straight up, this will never work. It just gives the kid more motivation to keep being a little ball of hatred. So you can try it, but it's probably not going to work. Our next option is to ask the parent to tell the kid to stop. Just add a little extra step in there. Now, this one has a better chance of working, but don't get your hopes up. The kid usually doesn't listen to their parent and keeps being annoying. Then every once in a while you have the parent quietly scream at her child, which can be an annoyance in itself. So this one isn't really worth it, I think. Now, this has never happened to me, but people have told me times where they've asked the parent to tell the kid to stop, and the parents got mad at them. Saying stuff like, "Oh, he's just fidgety," or "Oh, he's not annoying anyone else," which, let me tell you, I don't think I'd be able to handle that situation. I think I'd just crumble into a ball and die. And our last option is... drumroll please. Moving seats. There isn't much to this one. Usually there's spare seats in the cinema. Unless you're seeing like an Avengers film where the whole room will be packed, you might as well give up getting your own seat. And of course, if you're like sitting with your friends or your family, it's kind of weird to just move seats all of a sudden. So I don't know, don't do it with your friends. You know what, you can do it if you want. I'm not your mom. And there you go. That's all the research I found out about kids in the cinema. Wait, that sounded bad. That's all the research I found to have a fun time at the cinema. Hooray, you graduated. So that was fun. Me getting to complain about kids for 3 minutes and 40 seconds. But guys, let me tell you. If you thought children in the cinema were bad, then you'd be right. But there's something even worse. Something only spoken of in legend. Not the good type of legend. The thing that's worse than children in the cinema is babies. Babies! Okay, if you have the nerve to bring your baby to the cinema, then you're a monster. Because guess what? A baby's a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. Going off meaning crying. And this takes us to a story I thought I would never have to tell. The year was 2015, I think, and Star Wars The Force Awakens had just been released. And if you didn't know this, and I mean, how would you know this? Star Wars is my dad's favourite film franchise, so we went to see it on the opening week, so the whole room was packed. There were kids at this screening, but I was around 10 at the time, so the kids didn't bother me as much. All that changed when a woman walked in with not just one, but two. Two babies on one of those double-decker strollers. My child brain lost its marbles. 'Cause even at a young age, my 10-year-old head was saying, damn, this shit ain't on. As the film started, I kept a close eye on the woman who had committed this heinous crime. And I want to say, at the scene where Rey and Finn are having the spaceship fight on Jakku, see, I know my stuff, one of the babies started crying. And at that moment, my body filled with rage. I was about to enter guerrilla parkour mode. A lot of people were starting to get pissed. And I mean, what are you supposed to do in that situation? You can't exactly walk up to a baby and go, hey, shut up. Because it's not gonna go,
oh, sorry dude, I didn't realise I was being so loud. Please forgive me, I'll try and keep it down.
no, in reality it's gonna go,
And I'm Mason.
So that idea was off the table. A minute or so later, the woman left. With her babies, of course. This ain't turning into one of those stories, if you know what I mean. And don't ask me how I know this, but the woman looked really sad as she left the cinema. You could really tell that she wanted to see this film. And for a moment, I actually felt sorry for her. But then I remembered what she had done, so my empathy was gone before it begun. Hey, that rhymed. Alright, before I go, I've been talking a lot of smack about the cinema, when this video is supposed to be about how much I love the cinema. So let's do one of those cheesy, clickbaity top 5 videos, cinema edition. Coming in at number 5. Popcorn. I don't know what they put in popcorn in the cinemas, probably something like rat poisoning, but it tastes amazing. No homemade popcorn can compare. I always get salted popcorn because it's the best, argument closed, and I've never been disappointed. It's nice and buttery and melts in your mouth, and it's just so yum. Number 4. The trailers. Now this is a pretty mixed opinion. Some people like watching the trailers, and some people would rather just get the movie started. I'm someone who loves watching the trailers. It's great to get me hyped up for new movies in the cinema that are coming out. And to all those people who don't like watching trailers in the cinema, let me tell you, it's all part of the experience. Number 3. The actual seeing of the film. You're probably surprised this is number 3. Well, shut up, this is my top 5 list. The actual watching of the film in the theatre is, well, breathtaking. The sound and the size of the screen is encapsulating and impossible to recreate at home. And number 2. The popcorn. Alright, so originally in the script, I wrote a little joke here talking about how I was going to do popcorn again and stuff like that because the popcorn's in it's great. But looking back on the script now, this joke is terrible, so I'm not doing it. So screw that, this is a top 4 list, we're just skipping on to number 1. Number 1. Tango Ice Blasts. Okay, let me get real for a moment, and I mean real. Tango Ice Blasts are the nicest drink on the planet Earth. I don't know if you Americanos down in America have Tango Ice Blasts, but if you don't, they are a godsend. If you haven't had a Tango Ice Blast, then shame on you. You haven't lived yet. Basically, it's a slushy, but it's fizzy, and it's actually good quality. And it comes in 2 flavors, raspberry and cherry. I mean, there are other flavors, but these are the main ones. I've spotted places all over Britain where you could buy Tango Ice Blasts, but the main place, and the only place I ever buy them, is at the cinema. It's a tradition for me at this point. Whenever I go to the cinema, I always buy a large Tango Ice Blast and a salted popcorn. And yes, before you don't ask, I always eat half the popcorn before the film is started. Now, I probably know what you're thinking.
Wait, a fizzy slushie? That doesn't sound very appetizing.
And you know what? That's exactly what I thought when I saw it for the first time. But I was wrong. So wrong. One time, a friend of mine went into the cinema, bought a Tango Ice Blast, and left without seeing a film. I'm proud of that guy. Also, we're all done. Now get out my house before I call the police. Also, Tango doesn't sponsor me. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then leave a like. If you didn't, well that's fair enough. Before the video ends, I just want to say a few things. The first one being, I just want to give a big thanks to my friends Joe, Ben, and Mason. They did lines in the video, they did a really good job, so yeah, go check them out. Their channels will be in the link in the description. The second thing I wanted to say was, in about a month's time, I'm heading off to Australia, so that'll be fun, but that means I won't be able to do any work over the span of the whole of December. However, I am planning to get, fingers crossed, 2, but definitely 1 video out before the year ends. I have an idea for a Christmas skit that I'm gonna set to come out on Christmas Eve. I was gonna set it for Christmas, but I thought people wouldn't really be watching YouTube on Christmas Day. They'll be hanging out with their families, hopefully. But that'll be a really short video because I only have a month to work on it. And the other video is non-animated, so that'll be less stressful to make, hopefully. But yeah, if something cataclysmic happens and I'm not able to upload either of the videos, have a happy Christmas, have a happy New Year, and have a nice life.